Okay, Eric, I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Let's get naked, y'all. What would it be like for you to be vulnerable? I'm your host, Eric Brown, and with me, Mr. Mike Jones.
Hey, man, what's going on?
That lead-in's a little scary, man.
I know, right? But I bet you we got your attention, and I hope that we can hold on to it because this is an incredibly powerful pod blast today. What we want to talk about, first of all, is the awareness that vulnerability is not the same as being weak. Now, we conduct a lot of 4-day master graduate leadership programs, and during that program, individuals are truly wiping the smoke off the mirror, taking a complete honest look at themselves, looking for ways to best their best and to become better in every area of their lives. Now, what they become aware of over the course of those 4 days is that it feels a little vulnerable when they are pushed outside of their comfort zone to now start demonstrating or connecting to behaviors that they have not practiced. The behaviors that you have not practiced are those that are going to be the toughest for you to demonstrate on a consistent basis. Whenever you are attempting to connect to those particular behaviors, that is when you feel the most vulnerable.
Yeah, so Mike, I just know what people have been taught, that vulnerability is synonymous with weakness. And when you're in that vulnerable moment, you're exposed, so to speak.
And that's especially true, Eric, of us as men, because we've been taught that men never talk about their feelings. That's weak. Men keep their feelings all bottled up inside of themselves. Men never show emotion because that is some sign of weakness. I am going to tell you today with 100% certainty that when you allow yourself to communicate your feelings, it produces more positivity than it does negativity. It allows people to connect to you as a person rather than building that wall and keeping it all bottled up inside of ourselves. If you take the time to truly connect to all of the diseases that we as men are experiencing in our lives as a result of keeping it all bottled up inside of ourselves, you will then become aware of the benefit of beginning to express your emotions. Now, I guarantee you, Eric, that many of the men that are listening to this podcast today have had somebody say to them, a significant other or a good friend, I just want to get to know you as a person. I want to be able to get inside of your thought process and your feelings and connect more to you as a person. I want to know how you feel about this relationship. And for most men, because of what we've been taught, that feeling word feels like somebody's asking us to demonstrate or show our weaknesses. They are not. They want to connect to you as a person. And the awareness for you today is that it is a whole lot healthier not to keep it all bottled up inside of yourselves, where you are now dealing with high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke, and all of the things that are associated with keeping all of that bottled up inside of yourself. It's okay to understand that vulnerability is absolutely going to allow you to demonstrate true courage. And this courage is not absent of the fear of stepping inside of that. This courage is absolutely recognizing the fear, acknowledging the fear, and having the courage to put yourself out there anyway.
So Mike, what are a couple of things that you feel vulnerable about?
Yeah, you know, Eric, just because of the way that I was taught too. I was born in 1960. So men were absolutely teaching me that it was weak to talk about emotions or show emotions, that it was absolutely weak to absolutely talk about my feelings or how things made me feel. So I grew up learning how to keep it all bottled up inside of myself and show some exterior of strength by being a real man, by just taking things on and keeping it bottled up inside of myself. So I became very controlling as a result of that. I took my place in society as a man, and I looked at women as inferior because of how I was taught. And what I've learned, Eric, is that when I allowed myself to be vulnerable, it changed my complete perspective of the world. especially in relation to the women in my life. Because as I examined my life would not be anywhere close to where it is now without the women in my life. They taught me, Eric, how to connect with other people. They showed me what real strength was. They showed me how to express my feelings in such a way that it allowed me to feel vulnerable. Because I don't know about you, Eric, but whenever I have felt like I had to give up control of something, it made me feel extremely vulnerable in those moments.
Got it. And I know my truth too around what I thought accountability or holding people responsible to a specific outcome and following up and following through on that. That was definitely one of my vulnerable moments. Now I've seen the absolute power that's created in those moments. And I'm absolutely convinced that vulnerability is actually being courageous in a lot of ways.
Absolutely it is, man. And you talk about courage. I was just talking about the women in my life. And I'm telling you, they taught me, bro, what real courage is, because they stood up to whatever they had to in order to allow me to become the man that I am today. And I would not be the man that I am today without the women that showed up in my life. And I got to say this out loud, bro. I don't care who you are, how much paper you got on the wall from the university, how accomplished you are in your life, how masculine or athletic you are. You absolutely need to take the time this weekend, this Mother's Day weekend, to absolutely go and thank your mother for everything that has gone right in your life and accept 100% personal responsibility for everything else. I don't care if she's still with us or if she's passed like mine have. Take a moment to just get silent and go inward and thank her for everything that has gone right in your life. Because I'm telling you, your mother, I don't care who you are or how you feel about women, your mother gave you the greatest gift that you will ever receive. And that, my friend, is the gift of your life.
Yeah, in full transparency, we're recording this on Mother's Day weekend, but I can tell you this, Mr. Jones thinks every weekend is Mother's Day weekend, and we don't need a special day on the calendar to reflect on and give that affirmation to the positive women in our lives.
Yeah, man, I got so many beautiful stories about how I just made a specific day out of the blue, Mother's Day, and did something incredibly special for my mom, just to let her know that she was special to me no matter the month or the day or the week, because she is absolutely, my mom and my grandmother are absolutely the women that were the absolute foundation of Mike Jones becoming the man that he is today.
So you heard it here first, y'all. Vulnerability is not synonymous with weakness. In fact, if you want to go experience true courage, put yourself out there in a vulnerable moment.
Yeah, and I'm not encouraging, I'm challenging every man that looks at this podcast, this pod blast, to absolutely take a moment today to take the time to express your feelings or your needs. And you do have some needs, man. I don't care how strong you are, your needs to the people in your life. Show your significant other your soft side, because it absolutely exists. In every last one of us, y'all, there are female hormones and there are male hormones. The reason that God created us that way is so that we could be resilient in our lives. So acknowledge the fact that you have feelings, that you have needs, that you do absolutely have feelings and emotions, and express them in such a way that it absolutely allows you to create more resilience and balance in your life.
Y'all have been challenged to come to the edge and take it next level with your feelings and being vulnerable.
Absolutely. And when you get out on that edge, you're going to get some sweaty palms. You are, baby. You're going to feel vulnerable. Your heart's going to begin to race. But if you are not living your life out on that edge, you are taking a fall. Too much room.
Here we go now.